I've been studying communication for 3 years, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to speak clearly. Lots of people, they speak unclear, and they don't even know it. They sit down, they try to tell a joke or something, and they say it, but since they slur their words a little bit, since they can't say things in a concise manner, people, they don't know how to act. Like, you know when you hear something, and you don't know what that other person said, so you just agree with them? You're just like, yeah, and then you just go back to fucking doing your work. That's no longer gonna happen to you, because after this video, you're gonna speak clearly. Alright? And your life's gonna change. So, I'm just gonna get straight into it. Number 1. The very first thing that you need to do in order to speak clearly is to articulate yourself in a smooth, clear manner. So what do I mean by this? A lot of people, they say things, but they slur their words. For example, let me try to say a sentence. I'm gonna say, the boxer threw a right hand punch and knocked his opponent out. I just made it up off the top of my head. I'm gonna say it how most of you guys say it. Yeah, the boxer threw a right hand, he knocked his opponent out. You see how that's not clear? Do you know why that's not clear? Take a guess, genuinely. It's not clear because I didn't articulate all the words and all the letters properly. If I said it and I basically overpronounced it, you would have understood it. Like, for example, the boxer threw a right hand and he knocked his opponent out. You see how I'm pronouncing every single letter, and it becomes much more clear what I say. So, I had this problem. I didn't even know I had this problem until I started recording myself and started listening to back what I was saying, and I realized that I was slurring my words. I was saying things in a way people couldn't understand. So that's why when I was talking to people, people would always interrupt me and say that again, one more time. They'll keep on saying that because they didn't understand what I said. It's because I was slurring my words. So how do you fix this? I just told you one way. You need to consciously, deliberately overpronounce everything you say. Pronounce every single letter, and this is going to help you speak clearly. People are going to understand you. It doesn't matter if you slow down a little bit when you say it, but say it clearly first, and eventually it's going to become second nature? Second nature, and you're effortlessly going to speak clearly. I also have a practice for this, and this practice significantly helped me speak more clearer and overpronounce my words. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take a pen. I'm sure absolutely every single one of you have a pen. You're going to take a pen, you're going to take it like, you know how you write like this? You take the pen, you put it sideways, and you're gonna place it in between your teeth, and you're gonna pronounce the entire alphabet. So it's gonna be, this is the pen, it's gonna be like A, B, C, D, E, F, all of it while the pen is in between your teeth. Do this every single day for 30 days, and I absolutely guarantee you're gonna speak much more clearer. That's the first practice. I started doing that, and all of a sudden, more and more people understood what I said. More and more people I would talk to, they wouldn't interrupt me and say, one more time, say that again, I can't hear you. They understood what I said. It wasn't because I wasn't speaking loud enough. That's another thing. A lot of you guys, they speak quiet and timid. The boxer knocked out. Speak louder, obviously. That's another way you gotta speak clear. I wasn't even gonna mention that in this video, because I'm sure that's common sense. Speak louder. A lot of times I was trying to speak to someone, I was speaking loud, but they still couldn't hear me. And it's not the fact that they couldn't hear me, it's the fact that they didn't understand what I said. So, do this practice, put the pen in between your teeth, don't do it in public because you're going to look like a retard. Go in some secluded area, go in your bedroom, go in your house, make sure no one's around, no bitches are around, put the pen in between your teeth and pronounce the alphabet. I'm telling you, it's going to help you speak much more clearer. That's the first thing. The second thing, when it comes to speaking more clearer, is saying things concisely. A lot of you guys, you ramble. You're trying to explain something, and you just say too many words. You don't say it powerfully. You don't say it sharply. Let me give you an example. If I want to say the boxer knocked out his opponent with the right hand, I'm going to give an example on how you're not supposed to say it, how you guys say it. the boxer, he was in the ring and there was people shouting all around him. He threw a right hand and he knocked out his opponent, but then a boxer, before he knocked out his opponent, he said something, but you're speaking too much. You need to say things powerfully, as if you're giving a speech. Not like giving a speech. You understand what I'm saying? When people give a speech, they're not rambling. They're not giving all the details. They're just saying something powerfully. You want to say things in the least amount of words possible. For example, the boxer threw a right hand and he knocked his opponent out. You can envision that scene in your head because I said a few words. I made it very simple. I didn't tell you the face of the boxer. I didn't tell you he was bleeding from his nose. I made it very simple. You need to say things with as least words as possible because that's going to make you sound more concise, and that's also going to make you, by extension, sound more clear. So, I have a framework for this. I call it the PrEP framework. I didn't coin this myself. I coined a lot of shit myself. I didn't coin this one myself. I just found it on the internet, but I used it and I started speaking much more concise, and you can absolutely use it in your own life so people can understand what you say and you're not a fucking bumbling idiot speaking to people awkwardly. That was me at one point. After I used the PrEP framework, and it changed my life and I was able to speak concisely. So what is the PrEP framework? The PrEP framework, I'm going to tell you what it means. PREP. Point, reason, example, point. So everything you do, anything you say, you want to make a point. So if I want to make a point about biking, I'm going to do this off the top of my head. If I want to make a point about biking is great for your lungs. That's a point. So that's the P done. That's crossed out. It's gone. Or I need to say the reason why this point is true. So why is biking good for your lungs? Well, when you bike, you usually bike for long distances. It's fun. And since you're riding around, it's actually increasing your heart rate, and your lungs and your heart, they get better at working together. And eventually your lungs, they expand and they get more efficient at taking in oxygen and releasing carbon. And what happens is your lungs get stronger. That's the reason. Now I can give an example. When I was going biking every single day, when I was in freshman year of high school, I could tell whenever I played basketball, I was able to run around the court back and forth without getting winded as easy. That's an example and another point. So that's why biking is good for your lungs. This is going to make anything you say super concise. You can do this with absolutely everything. Practice this. When you guys sit in front of the camera and you record yourself and you say, you're telling a story, you're making a point, and you're just practicing speaking, practice with the PrEP framework because this is going to help you not waffle. Waffling is going all over the place, saying bullshit. There's two ways to say this. I can say it the concise way with the PrEP framework, or I could say this by waffling. If I want to say the same thing, I could say it, but you're not going to understand it. If I was waffling, I would be like, yeah, I was biking every single day, and then I realized I was playing basketball, and then I was able to run faster. I could run longer, actually, and my friend who was talking, he was like, yeah, you're running longer, and yeah, biking is good for your lungs. That's waffling. You can't speak clearly that way. Speak with the PrEP framework. Point, reason, example, point. You don't always have to give an example. Sometimes you don't have to give reasoning. You can just give the example. Play around with it. It's going to make you speak much more clearer, okay? Now, the very last thing, when it comes to speaking more clearly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I forgot. I always forget the last point of my videos. I don't know why. But I'm just gonna make one up off the top of my head. I was talking about speaking clear, or speaking loud earlier, and that's true. If you want to speak clearly, speak loudly. When you say a sentence, make sure that you're energizing the entire sentence. So what you guys do, you might say, I'm gonna go back to the same sentence we were talking about the entire time. The boxer threw a right hand and knocked his opponent out. Well, how you guys say this sentence, you're like, the boxer threw a right hand and knocked his opponent out. You lose energy in the sentence. You don't want to do that. Everything you say, it needs to have energy throughout the entire sentence. The boxer threw a right hand and knocked his opponent out. That's clear. It becomes unclear when you start losing energy during this sentence. That's a big reason why people don't understand you. You start saying something, then you lose energy at the end of the sentence, and people say, what? Say that one more time? People don't understand you. Imagine you telling a joke. Imagine you're sitting in front of the class, you're giving a presentation, and you're gonna tell a joke, but then your energy fucking tips at the end of the sentence, and now you look like a fucking idiot. That's the difference between speaking clear and speaking unclear. It's the difference between you looking like a G and you looking like a fucking idiot. It's very important that you learn how to speak clearly. Energize your entire sentence. It also makes you seem unconfident. If I say something and my energy reduces at the end, I seem unconfident. I'm saying it without certainty. And it becomes unclear. If I'm telling a joke, I can't think of a joke off the top of my head, but I'm just gonna go back to this sentence. The boxer threw a right hand and he knocked his opponent out. I seem unconfident if I lose energy, okay? So, I basically told you pretty much the most important tactics, the most important things when it comes to speaking clearly. So no longer are you going to be that guy speaking and people asking you to repeat yourself. That's not going to be you anymore. Energize your sentences. Do the fucking practice. Over-articulate your words. You know who does this very well? Politicians. Look at the vice president of the US right now. Listen to how he speaks, whether you like him or not. Listen to how he speaks. You'll realize that he's over-pronouncing his words. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want this fucking video to get flagged or some censorship, whatever. But look up the vice president of the US right now. Listen to how he speaks and you're gonna see and you're gonna hear that he over-pronounces his words. That's how you need to speak. That's how you speak clearly. Alright? So, if you want to become a master communicator, if you no longer want to become awkward or be awkward, if you no longer want to suffer socially, and you actually want to have a thriving social life and not be in crippling loneliness as you were in 2020 and 2021, and all the way up to 2025. Okay, I understand if you're lonely in 2020 and 2021. It's about to be 2026. Get it together. Get a social life. This skill is being lost in real time. People are becoming less social, people are becoming worse at speaking, and it's absolutely killing the overall populace's mental health. People cannot thrive unless they're social. Humans have evolved this way. We've evolved to see people's faces and talk to one another and develop deep relationships, and you simply can't do that unless you're good socially, unless you speak clearly, unless you're a good communicator. And that's exactly what I teach you in the communication lab. If you want to join, the link is in the description. It's absolutely a phenomenal program. I put all my lessons in there, years and years and years of lessons that's gonna save you years of the fucking embarrassment and suffering that I had to go through from trial and error. It's gonna save you all that time. You join now. If you're an introvert, by the end you're gonna be an extrovert. You're gonna feel like being an extrovert because of all the shit I taught you. So if you want to join the communication lab and change your life forever, you can click the link in the description, and I'll see you over there.